Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a channel high sell on crude oil. We're only going in two contracts on this one because the stop size is relatively large. Stops at 33, stops at 64, entries at 33. It's a 31 tick stop, so can't go in massive size on this, but we're still looking pretty good to the downside. We had a relatively large push off of the highs, and if we zoom out a little bit, I mean, today is mostly just range bound, right? I mean, if we look at the day, where is it really gone? Well, we pushed down, we pushed up, we pushed down, we pushed up, and now we're pushing back down again. Now, the anticipation would be that they push up, but the main difference is all of these other ones, we saw channels completely fall apart, right? If you draw a channel up here, they just broke down and just kept going the other side. This one, however, is actually holding. We're seeing the signs that the sellers might not be done with this move yet, and it's time to hop back in and see if we can drag this a little bit lower to our targets. Now, the targets are going to be, the second one at least is going to be a little bit floaty, if you will. The first target's going to be just at the lows here at around 46.99 or so, 46.98. Our secondary target is just going to be wherever the channel lows happen to be. Right now, the channel lows are around 57. By the time we get down there, it might be, down to 45.80. It just kind of depends on where it wants to go from there. The first target going to be pretty straightforward. That one's not going to move at all. 46.98 is going to be 35 ticks. After that, we're looking for a continued push down. Again, the channel low, it could be anywhere from where it is right now, 76 ticks. It might be 200 ticks, right? We don't know. So we'll just kind of play that one by ear. But so far, so good. Everything looking great to the downside. We've got a nice setup off of the channel highs. We've got a beautiful bar right now. This signal candle is giving us an absolutely gorgeous bearish tone, right? You can really see that bearishness coming in, and our entry is looking better and better. Got in a little bit early on that one. So looking great to the downside. It may be a little while. It's going on 10 o'clock, right? So we're going a little bit later into the afternoon. It's anticipated to be a little bit slow today, but the volume that we've been seeing on crude oil the last couple of days is just shy of astronomical, right? I mean, the volume is absurd. Yesterday, we closed out the day with almost 800,000 contracts on crude oil, right? It was 760 something. So we had a massive volume day yesterday. Today, after a big day like that, you'd expect it to not really go anywhere, but we're seeing these ranges really get wide, and we're seeing another big possible day of massive volume. I mean, that's arguably a really weak day in the S&P during the summer months, right? That's not any small volume to joke around about. That's huge. That's massive volume. So we're seeing that follow-up day today coming in where we're getting another big chunk of volume coming in, and that may be just to take some of the profit back that they had from yesterday to push it back down. We'll kind of play it by ear, but right now, entries at 33, stops at 64, first target's at 98, second target could be anywhere from 56 down to 46, right? We just don't know that part yet. So we'll be back in a little bit, see if we can start getting those targets filled. All right, big old volume, big spike through that low. We got our target filled at 46.98. No hesitation at all. I mean, very, very fast movement through that. So let's get our stop. One contract, get that locked into one, get that to break even, plus one. Now, in this situation, you've got a ton of room, right? I mean, we're talking a really big distance now. The ranges that we've been getting on crude oil are relatively wide, and because of that, the stop itself going all the way back to one sometimes doesn't necessarily make sense. So that last kind of balance point that we ran into earlier here just after 10 o'clock, I kind of like that area, so we'll go a little bit farther forward here. 47.29 will be our stop. We'll just kind of lock in along with the movement. Now, one thing to keep in mind, right? One thing to keep in mind is that it is a relatively kind of range day. And on range days, you do end up getting a little bit of chop. And what do we have right now? Guess what? We're in another range, right? So it's expected that even though we're getting a nice breakdown here, we may snap all the way back up and try to take us out at break even. Obviously, we don't want to see that happen. So there is an argue over just saying, all right, we'll leave it at break even plus one for now until we know for sure that this range right here is out of the way. After we can get underneath that range, after we can see them, you know how ranges go, right? They usually break down, they come back, they retest it. After they start turning down after that retest point, now we can start looking to lock our stop in and really get aggressive with our stop. But until that point, we really have to give it as much room as possible. And that means that leaving our stop back at 32 at the moment just makes a little bit more sense. Either way, though, we got our first target filled at 35 ticks, right at 98. Now we're just looking to see if we can lock in that last one all the way back down. Right now, the target's down at 40. Again, this is going to be a floating target, but if that fills, you're looking at 93 ticks now. So we'll give it a little bit more time, maybe a lot more time, and we'll see if we can get that last target filled back to channel lows. All right, we continue to see some massive bearish volume here. You can see how much we're up right now. It's 111, 110 ticks at the moment. Just massive selling that came off of that little push that we took right back down again. And now we're seeing it wind in to the channel lows. Channel lows right now puts us at 46.13 for a test. We are getting close, right? So as we get closer, we don't want to give any of this move back. And you can see our stop is locked in at 76. Definitely looking to lock in a little bit tighter now around 60. Just so we don't give any of this back. We don't want to give any of this back. We're up almost 100 and, I mean, just a massive amount of profit. There's no sense in giving all of it back for no reason. So there we go. Beautiful move. We got our target filled, 46.13, right off at channel lows. And, I mean, wow, what a trade. Holy cow. Okay, so the overall move itself, right? Our first target came off at 35 ticks. The second portion came off at 120 ticks, right? 120 ticks is definitely nothing to be upset by, that's for sure. And that gives us a total of 155 ticks on the trade. Right? That's $1,550 with 2 contracts. It's an absolutely absurd move, and this is the movement that we've been getting on crude oil for the last couple days. That's that massive volume that we've been seeing, and we rode this one down the whole way, right? From channel high to channel low, nice and easy. You zoom out, these are the types of trades that you see in hindsight, like, man, why did I miss that one? We didn't miss that one, right? We picked up on it right away, rode that thing all the way back down, 155 ticks on the move, $1,550 on a gorgeous channel high sell, and can't really ask for much better than that. You can see they did what we thought they were going to do, right? We had that range. They broke out, they came back and they snapped into it. We moved our stop back to give them a little more room, and that held us into the trade. You can see how close that came, and then just dumped right back through the lows, and that got our final target filled at 46.13. So that's going to do it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com, and as always, we'll catch you next time.